Russell Westbrook is doing everything he can, and it doesn't matter. But that's okay, because the Clippers are going to win this series in 7 games and beat the allegations that they are chokers in the playoffs, is what I would say if the Clippers were going to be healthy for the remainder of this series. Therefore, thank you for clicking on this video. We are back with the Boominverse. We are on a streak lately. I'm going to get right into the video topic. However, first, please leave a like. Please comment, interact with the video, interact with me. I will respond. I appreciate all of y'all that are viewing and listening to what I have to say. And lastly, please subscribe so I can reattain as many of you guys as possible. I would have loved to have this video out already, in all honesty. However, due to some circumstances in my schedule, I have not been able to. But just for your context, right now, the Cavaliers and the New York Knicks are playing Game 4 in Madison Square Garden. The score is 66-63 in the third quarter. So from a point of view of mine, I see this series that should be heavily favored towards the LA Clippers because of their depth of their lineup. Devin Booker, he's been going absolutely insane. So was Kawhi Leonard. Look, as long as Paul George is in this series and not playing like PG 13%, then I believe that they should be sweeping them. But no, they're down 3-1 with a questionable status about Kawhi Leonard for the prolonged future of this series. And secondly, for Paul George, who we have no idea. This man's on his podcast, Pete, making jokes about, I'll be back Game 3. Man, are you serious about this or not? Like, I know you then rebutted by saying like, oh, in all seriously or actuality, I'm really working hard every day. But man, I need some serious work. Because you guys, I'm trying to see my boy Westbrook win. And he's not, like, he's putting his heart out there. This last game he shot 17 of 29 from the field. This is, in all actuality, one of his best playoff games ever. Probably even one of his best series ever to this point. Like, he's been, other than Game 1, of course, he's been very efficient from the floor. He's been so effective defensively on all 3 of their best players, and he has been keeping the game close as possible. And now that he needs this depth of the roster, who now has to step up more than anyone, we get a Norman Powell game that he shoots 4 of 15 after going 42 last game. The referees, first off, Phoenix Suns fans, look, I don't mean to critique y'all in one way or another, but considering how much the refs have y'all back this series, I do not consider y'all winners of this series. I consider the referees winners of this series more than anything. And don't worry, I have the statistics to back it up as well. In Game 3, first off, when they only won by 5 points, they shot 45 free throws. Meanwhile, the LA Clippers shot 24 free throws, meaning that is a 21 free throw discrepancy in a 5-point loss. Meanwhile, the next game, there was a 17 free throw discrepancy in a 12-point loss. So in the entirety of these last 2 games without Kawhi Leonard, they have now shot 38 less free throws in that time span, and they've only lost by 17. Now, you can believe that I am being a little biased because I do want to see the Clippers win because I believe they deserve to, and they have very much a disadvantage. Injuries are a part of the game. Oh well. But I cannot ignore the fact that the Clippers are taking that significant less amount of free throws. And even when you look at a guy like Westbrook, who's barely taking any, he had 29 field goal attempts and 0 free throws. He had probably over a dozen drives and 0 free throws. And historically, I understand the game is changing where the referees are protecting shooters more and more often. But historically, again, we see that jump shooting teams do not get as many fouls as teams that provide rim pressure. Overall, I just need either Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, and rather both of them to come back to see the series change and really be a lot more entertaining than it should be and a lot more competitive as it should be, as what Kevin Durant said in his press conference. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of just being a lot more competitive and challenging how I guess the game of basketball should go, right? Overall, I just really want to see the best players in the series play basketball. And I understand that there are injuries that partake in it, but, when you consider, again, all the sitting out for preservation reasons for Kawhi Leonard, for him just not to play because of a knee bruise, understand he's not cleared to play, but, man, as a fan, I want to see you play. Paul George, I want to see you play, too. Your injury was a bit more gruesome, it's understandable, but please, like I said on your podcast, don't be playing like that, man. We want transparency. We do not want false hope. I really sounded like a Clippers fan. I'm not right now. But I just want to see my guy Russ succeed. I think for him to play at this level on a new team with a different role, with the role fluctuating as much as it is and him showing so many different, things that we haven't seen from him before, him actually displaying a relatively good three-point shot and him very much competing on that other side of the ball, I just want to see him succeed. I want to see basketball go and result in the way that it is supposed to, instead of all this scripted nonsense that I'm really starting to believe one way or another. Because really, if you fixate on probably what the league would actually want in a series for their playoffs, for their leagues, in order to make as much money as possible, then it seems like, I'm not saying it's blatantly fixed, but I'm saying maybe there's a little bit of hedging for, the likelihood to make this other team win. You know what I'm saying? And I even did a college paper on this once before about the Tim Donaghy situation, right? When he was fixing games back in the day. And just some of this stuff is crazy. And let me digress because I'm going to some conspiracy territory, which is very unnecessary for this video. Because let me just talk about basketball now. Let me give some credit to the Phoenix Suns, though. At the end of the day, they are playing pretty well, for especially Kevin Durant being basically their second scoring option. I don't know if they're withholding him right now to make him a weapon later in later rounds of the playoffs, but that would be pretty crazy because he's capable of a lot more. This man shooting 17 shots in 45 minutes is crazy. Torrey Craig's been great. Devin Booker, he's been phenomenal. The defensive coverage on him is a little still confusing to me. A lot of drop coverage, right, in that 45-point game where you just busting the Clippers every play. Chris Paul getting the same amount of shot attempts as KD in this last game is pretty insane. But Kevin Durant hasn't even been shooting 20 shot attempts a game. I don't get it. Right now, I am to believe that someone, whether it be Kawhi Leonard or if it is Paul George, will return to the lineup in Game 5, and I believe they can get it done to proceed it to a Game 6, and then from there, anything can happen. If not, then Russell Westbrook putting them out by himself, I don't know if that's a possibility because we saw it. He tried today, and he only got within 12. Norman Powell, he was not great whatsoever. Marcus Morris wasn't great whatsoever. We're seeing Zubac get shut down at this point. And at the end of the day right now, these role players just are not fulfilling their roles, and probably because right now they're also fulfilling a much higher role than they normally would, so I guess that's fair to say. But I guess with things restoring back to order, with hopefully one of those stars coming back into the lineup, then maybe we can talk. I think the Clippers are going to play desperate. However, I mean, if the Phoenix Suns kind of come in looking to shut them out right away, and they are just playing with all that correct energy that they probably should at this point in time, so they can avoid anything furthermore and properly prepare themselves for the Denver Nuggets, then it's hard to say, but right now I would prophesize for the Clippers to win just out of pure desperation, and maybe some players are finally going to step up, and also maybe a player returns. If not, then maybe I'm speaking a little delusionally. Therefore, please leave a like, please comment, please subscribe. I hope all of you guys have a great day. Keep watching basketball, keep enjoying basketball, as that is what this channel is all about, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace out. Russell Westbrook.